Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. This is crazily coincidental just because of what happened last week concerning the TV show South Park, because they had the hashtag cancel South Park because of the episode they did concerning school shootings.
Right.
But they're the ones that put it out.
And that's just part of their hashtag campaign, I think, for the entire season. Like, gloves are off as opposed to all the other seasons.
So it makes you wonder, did they know this was about to happen? Or is this just a strange coincidence? Because a website conducted a poll on offensive content on TV. More than 1,000 people weighed in, which is not a lot of people when you think that we have almost
a third of our country.
Oh, is it a third of our country? Yeah. So they said, okay, 1,000 people. What's the most offensive TV show of all time? And they said South Park, the number one answer, with about 30% of the vote. South Park. The most offensive show on TV?
I thought the Kardashians were the more offensive.
Yeah. Family Guy came in second place as second most offensive show, 2 cartoons. Jerry Springer comes in third place. How about this one?
What's that?
All in the Family. Is that even still on somewhere?
Maybe, but that's funny you bring that up, because I was like, well, who did this study? Who did this research? And then I click on the source. It's seniorliving.org.
Oh, fuck. Why am I even reading this?
Because this is a website you should start reading, BJ. Yeah. You're a senior now.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Dude, I'm looking at, though, they said what is it about the shows that they find extremely offensive? And these are some of the categories.
Okay.
Sexual violence. Disability jokes. Well, that obviously with South Park.
Okay.
Racial jokes. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite, penises.
Oh, penises.
It just says penises. Then it says non-sexual violence. Vaginas.
Oh, vagina.
Sexual jokes, stereotypes, religious jokes, political jokes, and general female nudity.
Wow.
There's not enough general female nudity in South Park, though, especially that Jennifer Lopez episode.
First of all, you're missing the point about an offensive show and All in the Family. You guys are totally, I mean, these people should be old enough to realize that show was a satire, and it was perhaps one of the greatest TV shows ever just because of how it really helped folks beat racism in this country. I know that racism still exists, but it did so much for race relations in this country, that show. So,
that show, once you see that's on this list, it just makes you like, how do you even... Yeah, of course South Park is going to be offensive to an old person.
Yeah, you're right. And as well as Family Guy. Married with Children was also on this list. And again...
Oh, my gosh.
It's
what
like,
decade
really?
Are we in?
Yeah. I mean, how old are these people? I mean, they have to be much older than me, Steve. They got to be 10 to 20 years older than me.
Next on that list, whippersnappers not getting off my lawn.
Yeah, that's offensive. Wow. Eric Cartman was the most offensive character, and that is true. Eric, he does take the cake. He is the Archie Bunker of our generation. He is.
I think that little Canadian baby is the real offensive.
Oh, you really?
Ike? Oh, don't take the baby.
Come on. Though Ike does have a mouth on him. We know that. He does. Archie Bunker was number 2 to Eric Cartman. Peter Griffin, number 3. And Peter Griffin is basically Archie Bunker as well.
I'm just looking at the list, and at the bottom of the list of the most offensive characters, I don't know why Butthead got snubbed, but Beavis is on the list. But
no Butthead.
No Butthead.
Beavis is all about that fire.
Yeah.
So that could probably be, influencing the youth today.
He's also Cornholio, isn't he?
I am the great Cornholio.
Yeah, that's the reason.
For my bunghole. For his bunghole.
Yeah, that's why he's on that list.
We're going to score.
Yeah.
Can you, shut up?
So,
But if we're going to talk about Beavis and Butthead, can we at least do what is very popular with our audience and popular in this room and have our friend Vicky B
please
reenact her days of watching Beavis and Butthead, but she would watch it with her pops with the Spanish feed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Vicky does a great Spanish Beavis.
Yo soy Gorgolio y estoy buscando papelito amarillo para limpiar mi traserillo. Fire, fire, fire.
That is awesome. little Vicky Beavis. That's awesome.
Now do a little Spanish Carmen.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I don't know if I know. I don't actually watch South Park.
What? You un-American.
I mean, I love the movie, and I don't know anything that he says besides really offensive stuff.
You know what I love about this list? I'm reading this list, Steve. Mm-hmm. So they're complaining that it's too political, like says these characters. So everybody they list is a character on TV. They're all some character except one. One is actually a real human.
Okay.
And it's Donald Trump. So the very people that are pissed off that they don't like politics in their stuff end up picking Donald Trump, who's not a TV character.
But
He's the president.
Are they basing it on Donald Trump, the host of Celebrity Apprentice? That was a television show.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Maybe they felt that his antics on that show are offensive. Because if you talk about TV characters, he was a character on that show.
Okay. I guess. Yeah,
or the wrestling fans and like his character in the WWE when he went hair versus hair against Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, he didn't lose.
No. Stewie Griffin's on there. Charlie Harper from 2.5 Men's on there. A lot. Yeah, this is definitely senior living because they haven't watched Always Sunny. I can't believe nobody from Always Sunny made it. And
who's the most offensive on that show? I'm leaning towards Danny DeVito, but I think that's
I would probably say Dennis because he's the most despicable character.
Yeah, you're right. He really is. And if you got to see his special bedroom.
Oh no,
they had an escape room episode which was awesome. The escape room episode was great, but then they had to escape from Dennis's bedroom, which was really horrific because he would bring women in there and
geez.
So it was Dee had to try to get out of Dennis's bedroom.
Yeah, and he had the Dennis dating system, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Big question. If you haven't watched Always Sunny in maybe 4 years, is it going to be tough to pick up and watch this season? Or
no, it's always the same.
Okay. They're still despicable human beings that do hilarious stuff.
You're not missing anything.
I might maybe miss a couple of relates, but I'm not going to sit there and feel lost.
This season's a little strange, I'm going to say. Here's why. Because Dennis's character, and I forget his name, the real actor. It's
Glenn Howerton.
Yeah, thank you. Glenn has another show. So he had to film this other show. He's got another series, I think, on network television. So he had to find a way to be creative because he couldn't do both at the same time. So he's not in every episode of this year's Always Sunny. And they've been very creative about it. But, he's still on the show. But the first episode was a little shocking because Mindy Kaling was on there.
Is it AP Bio? Is he still on that?
I think that's it.
We watched that show for the first few episodes. It was pretty good.
Yeah, so he's on that show, and so he couldn't do every episode of Always Sunny, but they got really creative with the episodes that he couldn't make.
Yeah, Wiki says that AP Bio is still going on.
Yeah. But, so if you catch the Dennis-less episodes, don't think, oh, my gosh. Like, I watched the first episode this season, and it looked like they were replacing him because I hadn't heard about AP Bio. But as it turns out, it wasn't. They weren't replacing him. It's just that was a storyline they were going because he just wasn't there for every episode because of his other commitments. But he is still on the show. And actually, the escape room episode, which I believe is number 2, is really good. Oh, the escape room episode is awesome. So check that out.
We just caught a new show with Cedric the Entertainer.
Oh, yeah.
The Neighborhood.
With Max from,
from She Broke Girls.
Yeah, Schmidt.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. Her name was Max.
I don't remember anymore. But
Max
the hot blonde from Two Broke Girls and the dude from New
Schmidt.
Girl. Yeah, it's like everybody who lost their gig found a new gig, and it's called The Neighborhood. That should be the trailer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, dude. That's a good point. All the other folks that you liked on sitcoms that are no longer on are on that show. So what'd you think of it? Because I haven't watched it, but I was wanting to.
Man, I'm worried because anything I recommend you hate, but I genuinely enjoyed it. There was a handful of laugh out loud moments for both my wife and I while watching it.
The Neighborhood.
Yeah, because it's the whole premise is this white couple family, and they decide that they took a job and they move into a predominantly an all black neighborhood, and hilarity ensues.
It's the reverse Jeffersons.
Yeah,
that's what it really feels like.
It's pretty cool. It's very clever in some of the ways that they tackle some social issues, but it's funny the entire time.
All right, I'm stoked to watch it because I like all three of those people.
But I'm sure somebody hates the shows or upset about the show or offended by the show. I don't know, but I think it's really well done, and Cedric the Entertainer's hilarious in it.
Yeah, God, TV and art is supposed to actually tackle issues, but in a funny way or in some way that it really can make you take a look at stuff but entertain you. And so if we could stop getting so butthurt, that would be awesome.
Enjoy a show, and man, it's funny. I thought it was great.
All right. Well, by the way, just for the record, I don't hate everything you recommend.
True.
My wife does.
Yes. So have your wife do it for me. Say, hey, I heard about another show, and let's just see. Let's keep trying until we can finally.
I am going to try that show.
Try it with her?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always looking for a show to watch.
And if she likes it, you have to rub it in her face that I told you that it was good.
Yeah, I will definitely let her know it was one of your shows, but I have to let her get a few episodes in.
All right.
We're also going to try the Connors, and that is, of course, the Roseanne-less TV that they decided to do the show without her, and everybody's on there but Roseanne. So we'll see how that works out.
I bet it'll be all right.
Roseanne really was a good part of that show.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's like.
But when we lost Valerie in the Hogan family,
okay,
and then it became the Hogan family.
All right.
And the show continued, and it was still a dominant force.
How long ago was that?
I know, Rev. I love when Steve pulls these references from like the Dark Ages. Valerie,
I'm glad you're still watching
from the
TV.
Hogan family.
Yeah, I'm glad you're still watching TV, so you can hopefully get a more recent update to your.
Well, name me another show that was named after a character. That character leaves the show. The show continues and is still successful. Name me one.
I don't know if I want to try.
I can.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's Valerie.
Okay. Valerie from the Hogan family.
Touché, sir.
Not exactly her best work, but
name me a better show.
Oh my God, Rhoda. And the Mary Tyler Moore show. That's Rhoda. Where she came from.
Who cares?
Wait a minute. Who is it? Valerie Bertinelli or Valerie? Is that what you're talking about?
Valerie Hogan.
No, that isn't that. What's her face from Rhoda? Am I losing my mind?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe I'm losing my mind.
I just know Valerie.
I think that's Valerie Harper, right?
That was a kid.
It's Valerie Harper.
Yeah, she played Rhoda, didn't she?
Did she?
Yeah.
I don't know. You're talking about something that's like from before I was
born. So Steve doesn't even shows that I believe Valerie Harper was Rhoda. Is that right? Can you find that real quick? She's not Rhoda?
Yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore. Steve, she was
Steve.
She's had 2 shows she's been on that are much better than the Hogan family.
I've never even watched Rhoda.
Oh, my God. How do you watch crap TV? It's not her best work.
If something's on and I think it's cool, I'm going to watch it. Have you watched Valerie or the Hogan family?
Yes, I did watch the Hogan family and Valerie, and they were trying to make money off of her fame, but that wasn't her best work. The Rhoda character was her best character. Yeah.
Well, somebody says they agree about the Neighborhood, genuine laugh out loud moments.
I'm happy to hear that because Max. Because the actor's name is Max, the guy who plays Schmidt.
Yeah,
he's really funny, and I want to see him in a lot.
And he's
more.
great in this role because he constantly says things that make things awkward.
Yeah,
and I think you'll appreciate that.
Oh, I would love that. That's totally me.
So he wants to know the name of the show with Cedric the Entertainer. It's called The Neighborhood.
Yeah,
I don't know what network it's on. I
don't either.
CBS.
Yeah, CBS.
Oh,
Boom.
Good for them. CBS usually got good comedies. Well, CBS needs to replace a Big Bang Theory with a hot comedy. I wonder if this is going to be it. Because this is the last season for BBT. So we'll see if, in fact, The Neighborhood gets to be their new hot show. All right. We always love having our next guest in. And he's got a big announcement to make. Craig Gass joins us in studio at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
BJ, I always love having our next guest on, and I love how in tune our listeners are when it comes to our next guest. Somebody says, Craig Gass in town? Must be a home Seahawks game. Please welcome to the show, Craig Gass.
I'm actually going to be out of here. I have to perform in Hollywood I'm at the Comedy Store on Saturday.
Oh, dang.
But I'm leaving for London on Monday.
Oh, so you're going to the game in London?
I'm going to the game in London. I'm performing at the Comedy Store in London next weekend.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You really worked that out well. I mean, look, no matter how the season's going to go, that is a game you're going to want to go to, is the London game.
I think...
And the lookout for D. Ted Smith. Apparently he's going to be going in.
Wow. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that when you have Russell Wilson, I really believe you have more than 50% of everything you need for the team. He's just an optimist who believes, and you need that mentality of, we still got this.
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll is the same way. He's that, we got this. I remember seeing an interview with Pete Carroll on the NFL Network. And when they ended the interview, Pete was on a remote. And one of the broadcasters said, you know what? He goes, I got to say, I remember what it was. It was after the bizarre game in Minnesota, the playoff game where it
was a 10-9 that we won, something like that?
And Blair Walsh miffed it. He was like at the 5-yard line and he screwed up the kick to win the game and the Seahawks won. They asked Pete Carroll, what were you thinking? And he said, well, I thought, hey, they still have to snap the ball. They still have to hold it right. It's, the kick has to go up. I mean, there's a lot of things that still have to happen. Doesn't mean it's a gimme, When he gets off the air, one of the broadcasters said, I knew he was going to say that. I got to tell you a story. I used to play in a pickup league with Pete Carroll, and it was me, Pete, and another guy playing 3 former NBA players, and it was the first team to 20 wins. These NBA players were beating us 15-0 already when Pete grabbed me and my other buddy and said, all right, listen, we got these guys exactly where we want. Now we got this. Now we got this. And he said, and that's just Pete. That is Pete. That's the way he thinks. He's just a guy who just thinks, all right, you know what? Okay, we got this. Now we got this. We're about to lose, but that doesn't mean anything. And
it doesn't mean we're not going to win.
That mentality is everything you need to the mentality of I'm going to win. And I just need to figure this out when there's only a few moments left in the game. That's what you need.
Well, it's also like just his mentality, his outlook on the whole Earl Thomas thing. Because I thought it was hilarious. He's just flipped off the team and quite possibly his last time wearing a Seahawks jersey.
Yeah.
And then Pete Carroll was just like, just heat of a moment. But I thought everything was good and he handled everything with a lot of poise and composure. And I'm like, he flipped your team off.
Yeah, I see both sides of it. There's been negotiations I've been a part of, and I'm sure you guys have too, where you wanted to flip off people at work, And the other side of it is, if Earl Thomas sold me a car, he couldn't call me up 3 years later and go, hey, man, that car is pretty awesome. I think we need to renegotiate.
You need to give me more money for that car.
You need to give me more money for the car. I was like, wait a minute, we already have a deal. It's done, and we're...
That's funny. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't renegotiate years later. But I also see the other side of it.
There's a whole mindset, though, with NFL players. You're right. Us on the outside, just when it comes to any kind of negotiations and bargaining, that's how a lot of us think. But talking to NFL players, because we talked to Walter Jones, and even hearing Walter talk about it on the fifth quarter with Paul Sylvie, being an NFL player, former player, they see it differently. They really think that, no, this is fair negotiation when you get to your last year to go in and ask for more money and redo the whole thing. They just think it's commonplace because of how brutal the sport is and how you could get injured at any time. And after you have so many years in the league, everyone should expect you to negotiate the last year of your contract.
Yeah. You using that analogy just got me thinking, like, you're absolutely right. Because I remember when I went to the Super Bowl to see the Seahawks in Phoenix, and I thought I had tickets all squared away.
Oh, my God! I knew you were going to bring this up.
With a former player, and based on that whole rational and that analogy that you just made, that was exactly what happened to me. He sold me and agreed upon selling me these tickets for X amount of dollars.
Steve, I'm going to meet you in Phoenix.
Yes.
And you'll give me X amount. Cool, we're set.
And then we got the deal.
And now we just got to just complete it.
I think 2 days before the Super Bowl, he calls me up and says, hey, man, these tickets are really popular these days. Like, I don't know if you've been checking StubHub and stuff, but the tickets that I'm trying to sell you are now going for way more.
And they were.
A lot more.
It was actually
double.
the first time in Super Bowl history where scalpers actually took a huge beating because the demand went way out of control, and there were people who sold travel packages that were going to include Super Bowl tickets, and they couldn't get the Super Bowl tickets for the people that paid for the travel.
So then he goes him, he's like, all right, well, now I want to charge you this much. And I'm like, we made an agreement. When does this ever happen? If all of a sudden the price goes down, are you going to give them to me for less?
Yeah.
And man, that was a uncomfortable conversation to have with this guy. I'm like, I was a fan of yours. No more.
Now we
Give me
know.
my tickets.
Did you ever, I think we had this conversation, did you ever want to use the leverage of saying, dude, I could talk about this on the air? Did you ever want to?
I don't think he would have cared.
Really?
Honestly, I don't think he would have cared.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think he would have cared because he wasn't playing for the team anymore. He was not even really affiliated with the team. I mean, he had an opportunity to get the tickets because he was an alumni, but I don't think it would have mattered to him. And I didn't want to really piss him off because he was still my only hope for tickets. So my goal was now, how can we meet in the middle so I still get the tickets for a decent price, but I'm not having to pay a ridiculous amount of money. Eventually we did.
Have either of you ever been in a position where somebody was screwing you that you wanted to be able to use that leverage to go, hey, dude, you want to just come on my show and talk to me about what a dick you're being to me right now?
Yeah, I've tried that in different situations, and the company usually backs the person.
No way!
Well, because if they're any kind of advertiser of any station that we have anywhere in the country, because that's where I usually get screwed. I'll get a bad deal going to a business.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago, this had to be like 30 years ago, they say, hey, go see these guys for a car. I went and saw them for a car, and the car was a lemon. It was horrible.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, you got to make this right. I mean, and I, like you, I said, you know I work for the station, and I'll go on and just tell everybody about what's happening if you don't want to make it right. Well, they were pissed. They went to the station, and the station got mad at me.
Wow.
Yeah, they was like, hey, your boy's going to talk bad about us, and they brought me in the office. I said, they're going to talk bad about him because the car's a piece of junk. How can we advertise these people? And the station says, we don't care.
So if it wasn't a company that advertised, then you probably would have had some leverage then.
Maybe, but gosh, I'll tell you, Craig, with social networks the way they are today, I'm surprised at the amount of bad business that's done when anybody now has basically a microphone and they can go on Twitter, they can go on Facebook and go company A or anything, and they don't. And companies don't seem to care. I'm surprised at some of the bad service, realizing that all they got to do is go on a social network, and that's all they got to do.
Airlines, especially. Airlines are really...
What are you talking about? You drag a person through the cabin, you're giving them a back rub. That's what you're doing.
Hey, by the way,
dogs in overhead compartments, no problem.
You guys were talking earlier in the show this morning about what was was it under the umbrella of what's the worst thing you've ever done in high school?
Yes.
Okay, and you had a bunch of people calling in about...
Now we have an announcement to make. We got to make sure we get that too. But you want to do the... what do you think, Steve? Announcement or a story?
I want to hear the story.
All right, story, but then announcement.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Worst thing
Craig Gass, by the way, is in town. This is Craig. Yes.
I'm usually funny stand-up comedian here. Yeah. So worst thing I ever did in high school was I remember waking up in the middle of a class, or I guess it was the end of a class. My buddy Ryan woke me up and said, hey, dude, class is over. And awesome. I love going to school. I loved high school. I went for a long time. I don't have my diploma, but I went to high school for a really long time. But I love the actual social aspect of it. So my buddy Ryan wakes me up at the end of the class and he goes, hey, dude, class has been over. Come on, let's go. And I get up and I'm rubbing there's drool sticking to the desk from my mouth. And Ryan gets up and he starts walking out, and out of his trapper keeper, a note falls out.
Oh, nice.
Of his trapper keeper. And I'm yawning and I go, Ryan, and he doesn't hear me and he just keeps walking. And I look at the note, and it's a handwritten note by Ryan to his girlfriend. Oh. Saying, honey, please don't be mad at me. The reason why I had to run in the middle of that conversation, and this is very embarrassing, but I pooped my pants.
Yeah.
And I had to go to Kmart to buy some new underwear. And so I didn't want to tell you, but that's what happened. And I'm reading this note as I'm walking through senior hall.
Oh, my God.
And I'm standing next to a trophy case, the football trophy case. And there's a crack in the top of the trophy case from where you can, if you have to open the trophy case from the bottom. It's got a lock on it, but you open it up and it's got hinges on top. So there's enough of a crack.
Oh, the crack where the hinges are, yeah.
I slipped the note in there.
Oh, you didn't do
and
that.
It fell into the trophy case, face up. And then I just called a couple people over, like, dude, look at this. And he wrote his full name on the bottom.
Oh, he's not his full name. That his girlfriend knows who he is.
Oh, no, he said Ryan. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. He said his first name Ryan and his nickname that she gave him.
Oh, boy.
Poopy. And
good old Poopy.
And I called everybody over to read the note, and I'm not proud of it, but that was the worst thing. I ever did in school was I exposed somebody.
That's a shock that you would be that guy.
Yeah, you know what?
And you went into comedy. I don't understand.
Yeah. It's funny how what we did when we didn't have a cell phone to text people things, because like that would be something you could send a text like, "Hey, I just crapped myself."
Yeah,
That's why I had to run away.
And come to think of it, the thing I want to tell you about that just came out today isn't very flattering for for somebody, but I'm performing December 30th.
All right.
At the Clearwater Casino.
Nice.
I'm doing 2 shows at the Clearwater Casino. Tickets just went on sale, and it's a 3 p.m. and a 7 p.m. show to commemorate my return here to do some shows. I just released a cartoon based on a stand-up thing that I do called A Love Letter to Seattle.
Oh, somebody just sent me this. I watched that cartoon that you just did. It's actually really, really good.
It's the most obscene thing I've ever done in my life, and it's called Love Letter to Seattle.
It's awesome.
And there's one guy in particular that really takes it in the shorts in this, but it's the most profane, most obscene thing I've ever done. I'm really proud of it, and it's going out everywhere.
I'm Jim Foreman.
That might be the
Danger Jim.
Danger Jim is in there. He's predominantly figured.
We are just getting pounded down here, so we'll stay on top of it.
Shows are 18 and over.
Oh, okay.
Usually my shows are 21 and over, but shows are 18 and over, and they're reserved seats. So if you buy them now, you're getting the best seats right now. So go to getgas.com.
That's 2 S's, by the way, at the end of gas.
Yep, getgas.com, or go to the Clearwater Casino website. And all the information is there.
So that's going to be great for the New Year's weekend.
Yeah, they're also having me stick around to host the New Year's party on December 31st.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blast, man.
Yeah, Mr. Big Shot.
I'm shocked that's the big announcement. I thought it was our texter was on top of it and said, "Hey, was Craig Yass at Chipotle yesterday in Tukwila?"
I was.
That's the big announcement.
That's the big announcement.
That's the announcement.
Did you get the guacamole?
I got the guacamole.
Oh, man, you must be making some good money
I actually went 2 days in a row.
And look at you. See, you're fine. So Chipotle is a place to go.
Yeah. They screwed up my order 2 days ago. That's why I had to come back yesterday. Man.
There we go.
But I love Chipotle. But
Craig Gass, Clearwater Casino, December 30th. 2 shows, 3 and 7 p.m. Tickets at getgas.com, or you can go to Clearwater Casino's website. Check that out, too.
Not the reason I'm dressed up. I'm dressed up because I'm heading over to the Seahawks training facility after this. I'm interviewing the players this week to get silly stuff to put on Seahawks.com.
All right. I don't mean to get you in trouble over here, but you're going over to the Seahawks facility?
What happened?
Well, one time I went to a sports place wearing a different kind of sports jersey, I wore another Seattle team, and they weren't happy with me.
Who was not happy with you?
They made me change my shirt, Steve. I don't know if you were with us at that time. Were you?
Was that the time where you were in a place where you weren't supposed to be wearing any kind of jersey?
No. That wasn't the baseball thing.
Oh,
no, this was a thing where I
showed up.
I was on a field and I was wearing it was another Seattle team. It was I don't know. We even know what the team was, but they were like, you should really get. They made me.
Was it the lingerie team?
But they made me get another shirt.
And he was at the Storm game.
So I'm just helping you out. I don't know if they still have that same person that was there, but they.
I think Craig's been doing a bunch of stuff with the Seahawks and has probably been wearing a Mariners cap from time to time.
Well,
I hope they're okay with that, but they were mad at me.
Well, I got a Seahawks cap that I was going to wear when I go in and start.
Oh, so he's fine.
Oh, there you go. So you know it's because that's a sweet Mariners cap, by the way. I like that cap.
I love this Mariners cap. I wish the team was better.
Is that the future? Was that the future game? Because it looks like the future colors they did. When they had throwbacks to the future night.
It's some cap store in South Center Mall that does all these really cool alternative caps. So
you may not know, but they had that's the color. I believe the color scheme of the throwback jerseys is like this maroon, the silver, the black. When they did their special throwback night, they did it way back. They did it this year, and then they did it, I think, 20 some odd years ago with Ken Griffey Jr. And they were these futuristic. It wasn't a throwback night; it was a head to the future night.
They do that once a year now with
So it was like that's because I love those colors.
Back to the Future night or something like that.
Yeah, and they basically try to wear futuristic jerseys and make and so those are the colors.
I get nervous. I get nervous about going to the Seahawks training facility to talk to the players, and I think you guys get this. Athletes are the hardest people to get something funny from or get something unique from. I think they can be very careful
I just got to go talk to Janikowski. I think that's really where it all.
There's your boy.
Is he funny?
I don't know if he's funny, but he just looks like he's on the verge of something weird happening to him.
I had a thing with Russell Wilson a couple years ago where I thought, all right, I'm going to make him laugh, and then I'll see if I can, in the middle of the laughter, sneak in a question to get him to say something really revealing. And the way I got him to laugh was I said, Russell, anybody who's a real Seahawks fan knows that you are a man of faith, right? And he said, absolutely. And I said, okay. Have you ever seen Cam Chancellor hit somebody so hard that you went, oh, we got to pray for that guy? And he started laughing, and I went, okay. And Russell, who on the Seahawks most needs to go to church? And he went, oh, I'm not touching that. And I went, oh, man. I just thought maybe if I captured, in a vulnerable moment.
I see how you try to do it.
It was tremendous.
Yeah. Russell's he's too good for you, man. He eludes most of those crazy people coming at him. He's not, he's going to dodge.
He's a pro.
He's a pro.
All right, outside of Russell Wilson, because I know you've done some stuff with the current roster, who's the most intimidating?
Maybe the guys I'm talking to today will be. I can tell you I don't know who the most intimidating is, but Nico Thorpe is hilarious. Vanette is hilarious. Him and McAvoy, who just got traded, were hilarious. They told me some stuff that I can't put out, but they said they were part of a team called the Fart Mafia.
Oh, nice.
Which,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, right off the bat, we just know the good stuff's going to come from that.
Yeah, Fart Mafia is coming to hotels across the country.
How do we get that now, the new term for the Seahawks as opposed to Legion of Boom? It's now the Fart Mafia.
I like that. I mean, what
Janikowski could lead that.
Dude, whatever you got to do to get a leg up. You got to be Fart Mafia to get an edge up on people.
I see what you did there.
Leg was tremendous.
That's why, That's why Craig Gass, you got to see him at Clearwater Casino, December 30th. Get those tickets now. You can get good seats, 3 p.m., 7 p.m. It's a great way to spend your New Year's weekend. Getgas.com with 2 S's. We got more with Craig because, we got Pete Miggs. Steve yesterday got this one right.
When is Cinderella required to leave the ball?
9 minutes after 6.
No.
Midnight. Yes.
Yeah, well, you want Craig?
9 minutes after 6.
You see how we did that? Yeah, that's the kind of competition you're going up against, Craig.
The great thing I like about Beat Miggs is when you have a celebrity joining him to compete on behalf of a listener.
Well, of course, and you, of course, know so many celebrities that will be helping out.
Do you have any in mind that could help?
I heard Sam Kinnison's still alive.
Oh, boy. Oh, look at Sam. It's good that Sam makes these appearances.
Oh!
So if you want Craig's celebrity friends to play Beat Miggs for you, 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Miggs at 8:47 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. Here's another question from a listener. How long is a bankruptcy going to affect my credit rating?
Of course, most of the time, by the time we're talking about filing a bankruptcy, the credit has already taken a huge hit. Chapter 7 is going to affect it more negatively than Chapter 13. Chapter 7 stays on your credit report for 10 years from the time you file. It usually takes 7 or 8 years for your credit scores to get back into the normal range in a Chapter 7 case. However, your credit will start to recover even in Chapter 7 after about a year. You'll be able to get credit again right away, usually before your case is even over. Chapter 13 stays on your credit report for 7 years and usually takes about 3.5 years for your credit to get back in the normal range. So Chapter 13 will mean your credit gets better much more rapidly.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.